Welcome to Kapitel 1 mini lecture. This will be the first of several grammar lectures that will help you to go over some of the grammar from our textbook in more lively fashion than would otherwise be the case if we necessarily had everything packed into our Monday night sessions. I, for example, could right now be, well, I'm at home, but I could be at the mechanic. I actually was supposed to go today to have my car's oil changed and could do this lecture from there. You could do this lecture from the T or wherever you like to listen. The first grammar topic is gender of nouns, and in German it's quite straightforward in the nominative case, which is the subject of any sentence, so that we can see das Lesen is a neuter gender. By the way, this question was asked in week 1 along with one of my introductory lectures. How would you translate this title? I'm going to wait till we meet on the 14th to see what you think of it. It's pretty simple. Next, you have here Das Auto, a very famous advertising campaign that you may have seen for Volkswagen. But in addition, we have Das Haus. I'm underlining this word and the last of these, das Buch, because when we get to plural of nouns, there's something particular about how these operate. And a bit further on in this initial lecture, you'll see more of what neuter nouns look like and how to recognize them. But the masculine of nouns, here we have der, as in der Kurs, or der Student. And finally, the third gender is feminine, die. And you see the counterpart of der Student, the female student is die Studentin. Likewise, Professor and Professorin, or Arzt und Ärztin, many different counterparts within masculine and feminine for professions, or if you want to call student a profession, that may be one that you don't wish to have forever as your lifelong ambition, but think of it as a profession for right now. All right, and we'll have time for questions, of course. We have now more interesting information about the 1, 2, 3 on this slide, telling you to know that a noun is masculine if it's a day of the week or a month or a season. Now I've written out, anyone want to guess what season we have written out in addition to the cognate Sommer? This season comes before summer, and it's one of my favorites, der Frühling. We also see that nouns ending in these suffixes, I'll just say one, the second of these, der Teppich, which means the carpet or rug, der Sozialismus, for the English counterpart of ISM. So if you have, for example, Kommunismus, this ismus is going to be recognizable in many of your readings, I believe, as you go on. Finally, the points of the compass. Now to feminine nouns. I like that most items of the natural world that are nouns, like trees, flowers, and fruits, all follow the feminine, and you see here that all 3 words at the top end in an E. That helps. Die Tomate, die Eiche, die Orchidee. So if you ever eat those things in the summer that grow in our gardens, you also know this word. Some people end up with so many of them, they just give them away. But in Southern Europe, you often have a, what is it called? Greek salad, right? With Tomaten and Gurken. So now you know what Gurke is. If I say, ich mag eine Gurke mit meiner Tomate, that's, ich mag, I like, eine Gurke, with my tomato. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but as I said at the start, this is just supplementary to what you read in the books, and hopefully it helps you solidify strategies for figuring these things out in readings. Now, the cognates is what we talked about will help you in readings. Die Musik, die Version. Look at how cognate these really are when you look at English versus German. There's only one letter different there. Die Literatur, die Universität. This ending "it" helps you with the ITY. And height, Gesundheit. What does that sound like to you? Doesn't it sound like what you say to people, salute, if you spoke another language? What do you say in French, by the way, when someone sneezes? That's a question I haven't gotten the answer to, so I'll rely on you in this class. That's the gist of what to know about feminine nouns, but we'll do more. Now I want to know that neuter nouns are most commonly, I'm going to circle 2 right away because of the foreign origin part of this. Most nouns in foreign origin that will end in an O, such as das Auto we had and das Radio. Those are going to be neuter nouns. Infinitives that are used as nouns, like das Lernen, das Deutsch lernen, oder das Lesen, das Lesen. The reading, and the being, and the knowing, or the knowledge, das Wissen. Anyway, let's not dwell too much on this because they're the least common. The article in the nominative case for plurals is die, so we have die Autos, die Kurse, die Hände. Now here we also see, other than the neuter, we see an E at the end of the formation of plurals. That can be fairly common. So get used to that. And I think that should be enough. I've filled your heads with all sorts of rules or examples and rules about the gender of nouns. Now the thing has to do with suffixes. When you see this suffix on a noun in the nominative case, der Chemiker, der Arbeiter, know that it is masculine. Likewise, if you see, I'm going to jump to the next and then come back. If you see this suffix in after a noun, such as we saw der Arbeiter on the previous slide, but now I'm going to go with die Arbeiterin, the worker who is of feminine gender is die Arbeiterin. Likewise, der Architekt, who is of feminine gender, is die Architektin, and you get the idea. I already said this word earlier in the lecture. Do I need to even go back? No. I think you got it. Er for masculine, in for our common suffixes. The present tense of the verb sein is something that I'll actually tack on to the beginning lecture for the mini lecture of Kapitel 2. So chapter 2's mini lecture will actually start here. Just look at the forms for now in your book, or just jump right ahead to mini lecture 2.